Hello and welcome to another video tutorial for Paramics Discovery. My name is Malcolm Calvert. I'm the Director of Paramics Microsimulation, and it's a pleasure once again to be sharing with you some new features which are in Paramics Discovery version 25. This is one of several videos as part of our series. We've already got 7 uploaded to our YouTube channel and support center, and we're going to have several more over the coming weeks as we reveal the new features that are already in Paramics Discovery, which you can download and try for free from our website. So let's jump straight into today's tutorial and look at some new features to do with matrix estimation. So as with all of our video tutorials, I've got a model in front of me now which I'm going to be using to demonstrate this new feature in Paramics Discovery 25. And really what we're introducing today is an improvement to the matrix estimation interface. The underlying process of matrix estimation is exactly the same in version 25 as it has been in previous versions of Paramics Discovery, and you can find out more about that in other YouTube videos that we've created or documentation on our support center, and it's also part of one of the tutorials that we do. So what I'm really highlighting today is changes that we've made to the usability of matrix estimation, if you like. And what I'm bringing up here is the difference between version 24 and version 25 in terms of this matrix estimation dialog, which is found in the Edit Demands tab under the Edit Demand menu. You can see that in version 25, we've got quite a bit more in the dialog than version 24, which is on the right-hand side. So let's explore this version 25 dialog a little bit more. The best way to do that is actually just to go through the matrix estimation process, and so I'm going to generate the different files involved and browse to them and load them in. And as we go through, you'll see how the dialog works. So the first one at the top here is the prior matrix, and if I hit generate on that, we see this new box here which gives us different options for how we want to generate our prior matrix. So one of the options is to fill in all the values as 0. There's another option to fill them in as 1, or you can use demand sets that are already within the model, whether that's matrix 1 or matrix 2, as part of your prior matrix template. So I've just populated all of the cells in the template with 1s, and you can see that it saved it as a prior.csv is what it's called, and it's loaded that in automatically as well. Now if I open that CSV file, you can see that the matrix is populated with 1s. Okay, so that's the prior template. Now in the same folder I've actually got a prior matrix which I've already created, and that is called AM prior, and if I open that, we've got a better set of demands in there. You can see there's actually some demands which are more realistic, and we're going to use those for our prior matrix within the estimation process. But the template's provided for us, and we just populated it with new data for that AM prior. So by browsing and loading that in, it gives me that. Now the green tick there tells me that the format is fine and that's going to work, and that's really useful as we go through this process that we keep knowing, okay, we've got our format right. You can see that green tick when you generate files, that's telling us what it's doing, and also when you browse and load them in. Now this is the constraints template, and constraints are ways to put boundaries on the values that matrix estimation can produce between our origin and destination trips. I've also got a constraints file which is pre-prepared in here, which is called AM constraints, and I'm going to load that in. And again, it's checking the format and making sure that that is correct. And I can have a look at this constraints file just to give you a sense of the format and the template. Essentially, it's putting a minimum value on what the OD pair can be and a maximum value as well. So it's a very simple file, simple format, but very useful in the matrix estimation process. Okay, so we've got our prior, we've got our constraints, we've seen how to generate those and how to browse and load them in. And we know from this green tick that we're getting the format right all the time. So one of the key things of this is just getting that feedback on the process as we go that we're doing the right thing. Now the third file is a survey template, and I want to show you an option here which we've had in Paramics Discovery for a little while. It's in model settings, and it's the Csv Import Export, and the option is the link name format using a double colon or a single colon. Now I've chosen double colon for this model, and then I have generated the template for this survey data file here. And I'm going to open that file. Now you can see there we've got double colons between the links, and that's really useful when we're using really any link-based file in Excel, because it's not mixing up the link names with times, which it could do in the past. Now, I've already got a survey template with counts in and values in. So again, just like the prior constraints, we generated the template, and we've got another example here with actual numbers in it. And we can see the survey data handles link and turn counts. Now, the reason we've got a red X, if I go back to my matrix estimation dialog, is because there were no values in that the first time when we generated the template. Now when we browse and load in the one with values, we get the green tick. So that's, again, it's telling us matrix estimation isn't going to work unless we put some values in. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is actually load some demands into this model, because as you can see there's 0 demands in. So I'm going to import my prior matrix in here for the demands. And the reason for getting in demands at this point is because we now need to run the model to collect our routing file, gather some routing information from the model. How do vehicles choose their routes between origin and destination? This is another important part of matrix estimation. So we've loaded the demands in, and within the Simulate tab, I'm going to add a new configuration here, and we'll call it ME because we're using this run to collect a routing file for the ME process. I'm just going to collect one run. That's all I really need at this stage. Make sure that CSV is toggled on there because it's a CSV output that we're gathering. And at the bottom of my dialog, I can see the ME routing section, and I'm putting some settings in for collecting my PIJA. Okay, so I'm setting it to run from 7 to 10 and collect the PIJA in 2-minute intervals. I'm just going to save the model and hit the green arrow beside the simulation, and that gets it going. Okay, so you can see the model is starting to run here, and matrix estimation can take quite a long time because it's processing a lot of data. It's gathering all the routing information in the model every 2 minutes of every possible OD pair. So there's lots of information it's gathering, but because it's quite a small model, and because of work that we've done on improving the processing speed and the performance of Paramics Discovery, this is actually happening quite quickly now, and the run is already complete with the matrix PIJA collected. Now if I go to my log folder and open up run 1, we can see the PIJA file there collected as a CSV. And that PIJA file is essentially going to be our routing file for the matrix estimation process. So back in the matrix estimation dialog, I'm now going to browse and load in my routing file, which is called PIJA. So I load that in. Again, it's checking the format, which is correct. And it's also now in version 25 checking the format between the different files. So this is really useful, not just the individual files, but between them. So the prior matches the survey and routing, and the survey counts have routing data. So that's really useful. Okay, now I'm just going to use some of these iteration controls here just to run a matrix estimation. I'm using matrix 1. You'll have seen there matrix 2 doesn't match yet. We haven't set it up for that. And I'll just leave that convergence criteria as is, but toggle that on. And now click Run Matrix Estimation, and it runs it really quickly. Again, it's quite a small model, but we have improved performance and processing time, which makes the run super quick, and we're getting a good percentage match. There's then a button where we can click open and go directly to the matrix estimation outputs that we've just collected. They're within the model. There's a demand folder and then an estimation folder, which is date and time stamped, and all of our useful estimation files are now within that folder, giving us feedback on the process. So I'll just open up one of the files in the folder, the link count differences, just to give you a sense of one of the output files. But we're not going to cover these in detail in this video because, as I say, we cover that in other documentation and video tutorials on matrix estimation. This video is really about showing you the changes we've made to the matrix estimation dialog, really trying to help you with this user interface step by step through the process of matrix estimation, making it easier and avoiding errors. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video tutorial today. As I say, this is the 8th in the series and we've got many more to come over the next several weeks and months. We hope that you're enjoying using version 25 if you've already downloaded it. If you haven't, please visit our website or our support center to download it and try these new features today. Thanks again for watching, and we'll be back with another video